This fest is all about startups, not about organizers or anybody. So we welcome them first. And I want to thank all the speakers coming from all the cities, from all the countries. I welcome them as well to have a good experience for 2 days and give away all your knowledge and expertise, network with people. Luckily, we have most of the speakers staying at least for a day and 2 days, most of them. We have to thank them for that, accepting to stay for so long and be available for us. So it tells basically Hyderabad wants to do to startups. That's what the storyline. If you have to read from August Fest, Hyderabad want to do startups and want to learn startups. So there was, and one more point, which is very important for August Fest to scale to this far is volunteers. There are no, core team. There are no, except Kiran, who runs around all the year, visits countries, meets speakers, startups, and bring them onto stage in Hyderabad. Every one of us run our own startups. We all come together from different cities. We can proudly say now we have 500 plus volunteers across 10 cities in India. And they all do selflessly. And that's why platforms like this get built. We all want to thank, for them and then wish they will get back the knowledge and connections that, they come here to work for August Fest. And last but not least, the founding team that has started with Kiran. But there are two people, probably most of you don't know. You might have heard, a little bit about Adi, that is me, Kiran a lot. But there are two people who have been instrumental in, bringing this platform and, working and putting things together. Subhash and Shravya. Both of them are always in background. You don't see even in these 2 days also. You have a problem, they'll troubleshoot for you. And the whole volunteer team works like that. So that's a little bit about August Fest. And few key points, what you can expect across the 2 days, today and tomorrow. There are panels on stress handling. There are panels on healthcare. There are panels on scale up. And there are talks from top successful people, starting with none other than probably the biggest startup CEO, Mr. KTR. Right? You can say that IT industry of Hyderabad is a startup now. The way KTR sir and JS are running, KTR probably, he can be a CEO. We can say probably, and then our JS sir as a COO. So they are examples for us. And then we have next session starting with Funny and Abhay, who has built a great company amidst hurdles in Hyderabad. And funny story, everybody knows. But now I think he will tell in Hyderabad if you have to build a red bus, what it will take. So sessions like this. So we started with 10 startups. 2013, 10 startups are pitched. This year we have come to 100 startup pitches. So watch out for 100 pitches hashtag on Twitter. It will start at 3 o'clock. Till 6 o'clock, you will see 100 startups pitching each for a minute. Most promising startups about Hyderabad and a lot of them from across India. So that is one new thing. And last year we started an initiative to extend, what happens to the startups which pitches or put up a stall and then go further. So we started a small initiative with Ramana Gugula Munting channel. So we are here. Thanks a lot again and wish you good luck for the 2 days. Thank you.
Thank you, Adi. Without further ado, I just moved back from US last year. So I've been there for the last 5 years, and when I moved back to start up my own venture, I was pretty not sure about how the system was. But over the last 1 year, I've seen under the able leadership of Sri KTR Garu, there are so many initiatives being taken up. There's so much happening, and I think I made a good decision. Thank you, sir. So please, a big round of applause for Mr. KTR. So I'd like to welcome Mr. Sri KTR Garu to come for the keynote session, sir. To give you a brief introduction, he doesn't need an introduction, but to give you a brief, Sri K.T. Ramarao Garu, Honorable Minister for Information Technology, Government of Telangana. He's popularly known as KTR. He's the Cabinet Minister for IT, ENC, MAUD, Industries and Commerce, Mines and Geology, Public Enterprises, and NRI Affairs. He has been representing Siricilla Assembly constituency since 2009. He has a bachelor's degree in microbiology and 2 postgraduate degrees, MSc in biotechnology as well as. Okay, please. Go ahead, sir. Yeah.
All right. Good morning, guys. Now, I just thought it would be too embarrassing, because, he was going on and on, so I figured.
Okay.
Thank you though. Kiran, wherever you are, where is he? Firstly, I should congratulate Kiran for pulling off the impossible. See, for someone to actually do the August Fest on 3rd of September, I think that in itself is a miracle. So, congratulations, Kiran. The 4th edition, it's just getting bigger and better. As Adi was talking a few minutes ago, I think the entire team, wherever Subhash and Shravya are, where are they? They're running around somewhere. So Kiran, Adi, Subhash, Shravya, and to the rest of the team of August Fest for organizing this wonderful event. And to all the youngsters here, a wonderful welcome to Hyderabad. For those of you who are from out of town. And Funny, wherever you are, thank you for coming back to Hyderabad. See, this guy, he's from Nizamabad. He goes to Bangalore. And then, of all the things he has to do, he has to found Red Bus, obviously make a lot of money, but also give a lot of employment to Bangalore. I think that's unfair. I think a guy from Nizamabad, who was raised here, who was actually gone to school here, should do a lot more than what you're doing, Funny. So I think I'm going to put you in a spot and ask you to invest significant amount of money in Hyderabad. Thank you very much for also nodding. So guys, I won't take up much time. I'll only take 2 minutes. The last 2 years, in fact, I've every single occasion I've gotten, everywhere I've been to, I kept calling our state a startup state. There's a reason why we actually say that. Our state, as you all know, was created about 2 years ago. And when you start off as a new state, you're not burdened by legacy. So you actually have the agility of a startup, the bent of mind of a startup in terms of formulating new policies, and trying to pick up from the best practices across the world. You have the ability to absorb and to learn from the best in the business. So as a startup state, when we wanted to give a little bit of a push to innovation, myself and Jayesh Ranjan, our IT secretary, who's also here, and who's been a constant supporter to the August Fest and also to the rest of the startup community in Hyderabad. In fact, we went around, we tried to emulate the best. And when we started building on the story of startups, when we met a lot of youngsters who've basically been looking for a platform, we created the country's largest technology incubator called the T-Hub in Hyderabad. Now, T-Hub has done well in the last 1 year, but we have to do a lot more. I think T-Hub alone or government alone can only do so much. So what we've tried to do is we've come out with an innovation policy which basically promotes, which basically also supports a lot of private incubators, a lot of startups. In fact, we also have come out with a rural technology policy. I know Funny is actually Funny, and also Raju Reddy of Hitachi are also working on something even more eventful and something even more wonderful. They're actually working on a rural incubator called the KTR Sandbox, based out of Nizamabad, to give scope to a lot of youngsters from Nizamabad and other rural districts also. So it's not just a story about T-Hub or one incubator or one state. I think it has to be about building an ecosystem. In fact, one of the stories I keep telling a lot of people in Funny's absence also, which I'd like to narrate here. So last time we meet Funny in Bangalore, myself and Jayesh. So I request Funny to come to Hyderabad, spend some time with our startups. He told me that he's taking a sabbatical, and he also told me that he's investing in a lot of startups. So while we are there, we actually had a Hyderabad startup reach out to Funny, saying, "Sir, I'd like to meet you. I'd like to make a pitch, and if you can invest, obviously I'll be happy." So Funny, in front of us, in fact, he was actually on a call. He said, "Yeah, I'm coming to Hyderabad in about a couple of weeks, so I'll meet you then." And then, the very same day, he receives an email from somebody in Bangalore. And since Funny actually lives in Bangalore, he called this Bangalore guy who actually sent an email a couple of hours later after the Hyderabadi guy. He meets him the very next day. He also invests right there. The point I'm trying to make is, in today's world, we believe that we live in a virtual world where physical distances don't matter, locations don't matter, and where you reside does not matter. But unfortunately, in some cases, it does. When you are a startup looking for an investment, for you to reach out to a VC, for you to reach out to an investor, potential investor, an angel investor, is extremely important. And to ensure that this ecosystem gets built in Hyderabad, we're actually kicking off a fund called the T Fund on the 5th of November this year, where the government is also investing significant amount of money. Basically to give a healthy dose of infusion of capital into early stage companies. The second thing we're also extremely excited about doing is launching T-Hub's outpost in the valley in October itself, this year. The reason why we wanted to do an outpost in the valley is for one simple reason. When WhatsApp got valued at $19 billion, I think it threw a lot of us off the chair, especially people like me. I said, what is so fancy about the product that somebody had to shell out $19 billion? The point is, you have to be in the right place at the right time. See, had WhatsApp been founded by an Indian based out of Bangalore or Hyderabad, I don't think it would have gotten $19 billion. I think $1 billion would itself have been, big news. Point I'm trying to make is, unless your idea is evaluated by the right kind of people, unless your idea is exposed to the right kind of markets and right kind of audience, its true valuation will not come out. So therefore, to ensure that Indian startups, not just Hyderabad startups or startups from Telangana, are exposed to the world, we've actually taken a space in the valley, are liaising with a lot of prominent venture capitalist firms out there, and launching this outpost in October, which will create a feeder for all the Indian startups based out of T-Hub to go to the Sandhill Road, make your presence felt, make a pitch, and if your product has a lot of merit, I'm sure you will attract valuations like WhatsApp or LinkedIn or whatever we've seen in the last 1 year. The third thing we are also extremely excited about doing is we all believe and we all know. If you look at the innovation nodes and centers across the world, most of them in the world today are centered around university networks in the United States or US or elsewhere. Research obviously has a lot to do with innovation. Research is the mother of innovation, called RICH, the Research and Innovation Circle of Hyderabad. We're trying to ensure that most of the research institutions within Hyderabad also start working on commercialized research, also start looking at possibilities of disruption in variety of spaces. We have more than 30 public sector institutions in Hyderabad. The CCMB, the IICT, I can go on and on. The list is huge and unending. We're trying to ensure that they actually start working on what is required in the market, and the research that happens in these institutions is also commercialized and also able to produce more and more employment and more entrepreneurs from our own city and from our own state. So all in all, I'd like to congratulate August Fest for making it bigger and better every year. This is a wonderful platform for all of you who are making a pitch this evening. And for those of you from out of town, just a good opportunity to meet and talk with the best in the industry. So all of our best wishes, our support is with you constantly. And I hope for sure that in days to come, in years to come, Telangana will not only be known as a startup state, but also will start scaling up into a wonderful and a happening innovation center in India. Thank you very much.